Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lillian and I am back on YouTube. It has been a long time. I think this whole year has just been a year of inconsistency for me when it comes to my YouTube and my social media content. This year has been very hard for me, I'm not gonna lie. There's been a lot of things going on. My master's being the main thing. Like, I really underestimated the work that goes into a master's degree. So now that I have finished my dissertation, I am finally done. I'm waiting for a few more grades to come in and then I have graduated, but I'm basically done now. I'm just working. So I'm glad to be back on YouTube again, back on TikTok, all these other social media platforms, and just get back to creating content. Because even though like this whole year I've been very inconsistent and I've been focusing a lot on my studies and whatnot, I'm seeing all this amazing content being created on social media and I'm just like, ugh, I wish I could be joining in creating all this amazing content. I was getting so like inspired by it and I really wanted to just get creative, and I felt so limited by my time and resources because I was studying and working as well, and I had to go back to the Netherlands like 5 times this year. So it's just been a very busy last 6 months, I guess. Anyways, I don't want to drag this intro out too much. I asked you guys to send me questions on Instagram because I thought, what better way to come back on YouTube than doing a little Q&A get ready with me video and have you guys ask me whatever you want to know. So I'm gonna answer all your questions while doing my makeup, but make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I will be back with the weekly uploads again. And let me know in the comments what type of content you want to see from me. I'm gonna do more vlogs, that's for sure, but what else do you want to see? I've had a few requests on doing like business advice now that I've started my own hair business this year, but I'll get all into that in a video. But yeah, just let me know whatever you want to see on my channel. Okay, so this was a new bottle of brush cleaner and the whole bottle spilled inside my makeup bag, so I just had to clean up that whole mess. Anyways, let's get into it. I'm gonna start off with doing my brows with the Sleek powder brow pencil in the shade dark brown, and let's get into the first question as well. So the first question is, what are you standing? And I guess the person means, where are you standing in like life? So I'm just gonna take the question as that. So right now I just finished doing my dissertation, or my thesis as some of you like to call it. So I'm basically done. I'm basically done with uni, done my bachelor's, I've done my master's degree. I am not going back to uni anytime soon. Okay, see, my cat wants to say hi. I don't know if you guys remember him from my last video. Look how big he is now. Okay, he also doesn't like to get picked up anymore. Cheeto, can you please get off the table? Thank you. Anyways, so yeah, I finished my master's degree as well. So now I'm really just working and I can finally get back to creating my content and also running my business, because my dissertation or my thesis, it was really taking over my life in the past 3 or 4 months. Sorry, I just had to do my brows, like fill them in off camera. This dissertation has just taken over the last few months of my life and I wasn't really able to focus on anything but that and my actual job. And so now that I'm done with uni, like forever, I can finally focus on my business and on my content and on my job. So those are the main 3 things that I'm doing at the moment. I really forgot how to talk and do makeup at the same time. This is really hard. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I'm really doing right now. Work, content creation, and growing my online business. In the past few months, like I said, I was so focused on my dissertation. Like, I just took a break from everything, not just socials, but also my online business. So I wasn't really marketing it. I wasn't really posting on that account. I wasn't really doing anything except for accepting orders. Like, I wasn't actively marketing my brand. And of course, when you don't put like effort into your marketing, you're gonna see that in the amount of orders that you get. So I'm really looking forward to see to put in that time and effort to really grow my business. The next question is, what's the last book that you've read? So the last book that I've read, I'm currently reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And it's quite a good book, but I do have to say, like, I haven't picked it up in like 3 weeks now. The last book that I've read before that, that's a really good question. I think it's Verity by Colleen Hoover. She's really good as well. But I do have to say, like, I feel like once I've read other books, I can tell that Colleen Hoover is really like a beginner's reader. And it reminds me very much of like the Wattpad days. You know, just very, I don't want to say like predictable, because they're not predictable at all, but like very much like romance centered books. It's okay, but also the way her writing and stuff, like, it's not the best writing that I've seen. But Verity is a very good book. I think my brows are a little bit too thick. But yeah, actually this year I've been reading a lot of books, which is crazy because I always used to struggle finishing one book even in a year, because I was reading all these self-help books. Like, the last one I read was Atomic Habits. That one is really good though, to be honest. That's one of the best ones that I've read. But all these self-help books, like The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, The Secret I did read in a quick, like, didn't take me that long to read. But I was reading so many like self-help books type of things that I wasn't really enjoying reading, and it was taking me really long to get through one book. And then I was introduced to Colleen Hoover, and I think the first book I read was It Ends With Us, and I literally read it in like 1 or 2 days, and I was like, damn, I haven't done that in a very long time. And then I started ordering more books of her, and then I started getting, you know, the book talk TikTok videos and ordering all these recommendations, and now I'm obsessed. A few books that I've read this year are Silent Patient. The Silent Patient is really good. I really liked it. They Both Die at the End. That one is really good. That one is really good. I actually want to reread it again. I've read a few of the Colleen Hoover books, and now I'm reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and then I've also ordered Malibu Rising. To be honest, a lot of times my go-to like girl for book recommendations is Haywan, my friend. If you guys don't follow her on YouTube or Instagram, you gotta do it. She's so good. Like, her content is amazing, top tier, and I'm not just saying it because she's my friend. Anyways, she posts a lot of book recommendations on her Instagram stories, and I feel like we're kind of into the same books. So whenever she post something, I just trust that it's a good recommendation and I order it. Another one as well is Meron. Meron posts on Instagram and YouTube as well, I think. Mostly in Amharic though. So I don't really usually understand most of her content, but when she posts on her stories, usually English, and then she posts Jesus, and then she posts all these book recommendations. So definitely recommend these two. Who is snapping me like that? Let me turn off. So yeah, those are some of the books that I've read this year. And I've been really enjoying reading. There was a point where I wasn't even watching Netflix. I was just reading all the time. And even now, like, I don't really have a show that I'm binge watching on Netflix. Although I do have to say, I spent the past 2 days binge watching the whole season of Love is Blind. The new season, which, to be honest, it's just 8 episodes, so it's not that much. It took me 3 days to get through the first episode. Like, I didn't even finish. So when I sat down to finish that first episode, I binge watched until like episode 6, and then the next day watched the rest of the episodes. Like, that show is just crazy, literally crazy. And I don't know where they cast these people from. Oh my god, why is my makeup looking so ugly today? I know I've only done brows, but like, I should have done my brows off camera, because this kind of takes a little bit long. Okay, I'm just gonna move on, because you know what they say, twins, no, brows are not twins, they're cousins or something like that. Yeah, these brows definitely look like very distant cousins, not even cousins, family friends or neighbors maybe. I'm just using some brow gel. This is by Benefit, their 24-hour brow setter. You guys don't even want to see what's under this headscarf, because this wig that I'm wearing It's not even secured. It's not even on. I just put it on, like, I literally put it on and put the headscarf on. So my wig is like all the way here now. I can feel it sliding. Anyways, if you guys want me to do like all the books that I've read this year video, I can do that. Or maybe it's better for like TikTok. But yeah, I've been really enjoying reading books. So if you have any book recommendations, let me know in the comments. The next question is, what is a quote that you live by or means a lot to you? This is a hard one, to be honest. I'm really struggling to do my makeup and talk at the same time. Anyway, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Butter Pecan. You guys know I've been using this foundation since 2019. Like, I love this foundation. This is the first time I got a different shade though. I usually get Chestnut, but now I got Butter Pecan because Chestnut was just getting a little bit too dark for me. Actually, before I apply my foundation, I'm gonna prime my face with some Weleda Skin Food Light because it's November. It's basically winter. I feel like we just skipped through autumn and just went straight to winter. Okay, I really need to get a new one. Anyways, in this weather my face tends to get quite dry, especially on my cheeks. And I am gonna set that with some powder. I'm using the Morphe, what is this called? Bacon Set Setting Powder in the shade Translucent, because I do get really oily on my nose area. A quote that I live by would be probably a Bible verse that says, it's Jeremiah 29:11, I believe, and it says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. And that Bible verse, like, it just gives me so much peace whenever I feel like, when I feel very anxious or scared or worried, or you know, whenever I'm just in a situation where I'm frustrated or feel like giving up or anything like that, you know, that quote, it just gives me that hope. Like, it gives me that peace of thinking like God has a plan for my life, and it really helped me to put things into perspective and to trust God, that God, you know, whatever happens in my life, that God has a plan and that this is all part of his plan. And you know, this is really hard to believe, especially when you're going through bad situations. It's like, how on earth can this be, you know, for good and not for bad? But it's those moments that really show your faith and, you know, really test your faith, I would say. Because it's very easy to trust God when everything is going good and to have faith and stuff like that. But when you're going through bad times in your life, and trust me, there are going to be bad times in your life, you need to be able to have faith in God, trust that he has a plan, trust that he's working things out for your good, and have peace in that. Find peace in that, I would say. So yeah, that's one quote that I live by. Also, another quote, which is not from the Bible, would be like, I think it goes somewhere along the lines of, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, don't worry about it for more than 5 minutes, or something like that. I think it's the 5x5 rule. A lot of times we spend so much time worrying about some problems where it's like, in 5 years time, I wouldn't even remember this problem, this issue. So why am I worrying so much about it? And on top of that, don't worry about things you can't control. That's also a major quote that I live by, because it's like, worrying isn't gonna change the situation. Of course, worry is like a natural feeling. So I'm not telling you guys like, oh, you should never worry. But there is a limit, and there is a way of dealing with worry and anxiety and all those things, because it's what you tell yourself in that moment. Are you gonna let yourself like overthink the situation and like worry way too much about it, or are you gonna tell yourself, you know what, I can't control this situation, I've done whatever I can do, I can't do anything else about it. Is worrying gonna change anything? No. The only thing that comes from worrying is that it's gonna make you feel worse. It's gonna bring you down, your mood down. And so is it really worth it? It's not. And you just have to give yourself that pep talk. And I love quotes. Like, one thing about me, I love quotes. I always share quotes on my story. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I do. A lot of people used to think like, oh, this girl's going through some shit. But it's not even that. I just love quotes because a lot of times quotes, they just put your feelings into words that you wouldn't be able to express otherwise, and they really help you deal with certain situations. They give you like a new mindset, a new perspective on life. And so a lot of times I share quotes that I may not be able to relate to in that moment, but I know I've either been there once before, or I know that someone would be like helped by one of those quotes. Like, these quotes would help some people that follow me. And a lot of times, like so many times, I get messages when I post Bible verses, when I repost quotes that I find on Instagram. A lot of times I get like messages like, oh my God, I really needed to hear this today, and thank you so much for sharing it, this and that. And it's like, I don't even think about it. I just share it. Like, I like the quote, I share it. I don't even think about it. But to know that people find these quotes and these Bible verses helpful, I'm just gonna keep doing it, you know, why not? By the way, I am using the e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer in the shade Deep Caramel. I bought this concealer because the one from Too Faced that I usually use, which is this one in the shade Butterscotch, it was just a little bit too dark on me, and I wanted a bit more of a brightening effect. So I was using these two mixed together. But now, I don't know, I feel like I'm so pale or something. Like, I can just get away with using that one as a concealer. Okay, next question, because I am talking a lot. One thing from your bucket list. So this is actually funny because I was literally thinking of making a bucket list for 2023. I wouldn't say a bucket list, but more like the places that I want to travel to, the things that I want to do next year. So one of the places on my list is Tanzania. I really want to go to Zanzibar and also go on safari in, I think the capital city is Dar es Salaam. Don't quote me on the like how you pronounce it, because I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, I really want to go to Tanzania. Like, that is one of my dream locations. Also, really want to go to New York. I would do New York with friends probably. In general, I'm really thinking of doing like a trip through America because I've never been to the US, and I have quite a lot of family and like friends there, so I really want to visit them, but everyone kind of lives everywhere. So I have my friend who just moved to Minnesota, then I've got another friend in Virginia, then I've got family in Seattle, family in California, family in Texas. So it's literally all around the US. But yeah, I don't know if I should do it all in one trip, or if I should, you know, go to the East Coast in one trip and then go to the West Coast in another trip. But yeah, we'll see. That's on my bucket list. Another thing on my bucket list for next year is go on a holiday by myself. So it would probably be like a weekend trip to like just like a city trip somewhere in Europe. But I really just want to try going somewhere by myself. Like, I've never done that before. I'm going to use this Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light wand. It's like a cream highlighter in the shade, I'm not sure what shade this is, Spotlight. I never really used this, to be honest, but I just wanted to try it. It gives a subtle glow, but doesn't really do much in my opinion. Yeah, I don't really have a crazy, I think I want to really sit down and like make a bucket list. So when I do that, I'll get back to you guys. I'm going to set my under eyes with the Morphe setting powder that I was using earlier, and then I'm also going to use the Fenty setting powder in the shade Honey for the rest of my face. Okay, so the next question is, what's your favorite song slash album slash artist right now? That is a really good question. In all honesty, I haven't been listening to a lot of music. Like, I've been watching a lot of YouTube and things like that, and like the only time I really listen to music is when I'm in the shower. Or I really love, there's this guy on YouTube called Bobby Nsenga. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but he does these amazing R&B mixes on YouTube, and so that's what I usually listen to. But I guess my favorite artist would be, I really like Jhené Aiko. I think she would be my favorite artist of all time, but also anything in that direction, to be honest. So I love a lot of Jhené Aiko, Tiana Taylor. So I went to her concert in September in London, and it was so good. I was so sad because that's gonna be her last concert. She quit music, so this was like her last tour ever. So that was really sad, but it was really fun. Then Drake is also one of my favorite artists. My favorite song at the moment would be Oxlade, Kulosa, or Closer, whatever you want to call it. I know it's like a typical TikTok song, but that song, I just love it. Favorite album, I don't really listen to like full albums like that. Drake released a new album, I haven't even listened to it, with 21 Savage, because I'll be honest, I'm not really into 21 Savage. I don't really care for his music. So yeah, I tried listening to one of the songs yesterday. I just didn't find it that interesting, so I just couldn't be bothered to listen to the whole album. The last time I listened to a full album was when Jhené Aiko's album came out, which was during COVID, I believe. So I guess you can call that my favorite album. It's called Chilombo. So I'm going to bronze my face using my Hoola Toasted Bronzer by Benefit. I don't know what happened to this bronzer. I think once I sprayed setting spray on it instead of alcohol. I thought it was alcohol because I wanted to sanitize it, and I think I sprayed setting spray on it, and now it's just like it barely like gives me pigment, so I really have to get into it. Anyways, next question is, are you going to school? If yes, when are you graduating? So I kind of already answered this question. I was going to uni. I just finished my master's degree, so I'm graduating, or like graduation ceremony is next year, but I will be hearing like the official news whether I've graduated or not in December, so that's very excited. I kind of already know that I've graduated, like based on my grades, but I'm really curious to find out like what's my average like GPA, because if it's high enough I might graduate with a distinction, so with like an honors degree, which would be really cool because I've never ever gotten grades this high. Like my average during my master's was much higher than my average during my bachelor's. So but yeah, I'm not going back to school again. I just finished my master's degree, was in marketing and entrepreneurship. My bachelor's degree was in public administration, and I think that's enough for me. Like I'm not gonna do a PhD because it's just not really necessary for me as well, because it's like I'm doing marketing, which is not really, I wouldn't really see that as a field to do like a PhD in, and I'm just really not interested. Like my student debts right now, because obviously I was getting student loans, because in Holland our system is like a little bit different, and literally like everyone gets student loans. So I was getting student loans, and I've been studying for 3 years during my bachelor's, and then 1 year during my master's, but my master's was much more expensive than my bachelor's. So my student debt is really high right now, so I want to focus on, you know, clearing that off first. Okay, we love a bronzed skin. For blush, I'm going to use my Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Palette Volume 2, and I'm going to use the shade Tau. So someone asked, what's your favorite food and the food you dislike the most? That's a really good question. The food I dislike the most, that's really hard, because I think it's more like an ingredient rather than a meal. But one thing I hate is mushrooms. I hate the texture. It's so like slippery, like I don't know, I don't like mushrooms at all. I also hate ginger. Like anything with ginger, I hate it. The only thing I like is ginger ale, because it doesn't really taste like ginger, but like ginger in my tea or anything like that. Like, I don't like it at all. But the food that I like the most, I really love sushi with like the fried shrimp sushi. That's like my favorite, like the tempura ebi sushi. I also really love injera, like Eritrean Ethiopian food. So good, so good. I think those are my two favorite foods. So like Eritrean food and sushi. But in terms of like when I cook food, I really love to cook salmon. I really like to make stir fry with rice or with noodles. You see guys, the thing is, I wouldn't say I'm a picky eater, right? But my friends, they really make fun of me. Like, they really think I'm such a picky eater, and I'm just like, am I the drama?
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
Anyways, let's focus on the eyes. I want to try to recreate this look that I saw, which was like very simple, very basic. And it's my birthday on Thursday. I'm filming this on Monday. This video is gonna be out on Sunday probably, so by the time this video gets up, it's already past my birthday. But like, I want to just practice this look. I don't really have plans for my birthday. I'm just gonna go out for dinner. I just want to try out this look that I saw. It was super basic, so I'm gonna use this bronzer as like a base. The look that I saw, it barely had any eyeshadow. And then I'm going to take this Huda Beauty palette, the Topaz Obsessions palette, and I'm gonna just mix these two shimmery shades. As you can see, this palette is well loved, very well loved. I'm gonna mix these two shimmer shades and just apply them on my lid. Very simple eyeshadow look, but I think it's really cute. My cousin, she said, not a question, but wanted to let you know how proud I am of you. Miss you so much. Thank you, girl. Literally, guys, my whole family has been dragging me about like YouTube because, let me be honest, I finished my dissertation. I submitted it on October 5th and today is November 7th. So I was supposed to be back on YouTube, you know, maybe a week after I submitted, but I took a break. I took a break from a break. So I was like, let me just slow down a little bit because I also was going through some stuff. So I went to see my family for like 2 weeks, and then I came back last week, exactly 1 week ago, and it's like, okay, now it's time to get back on YouTube. But literally yesterday my dad was calling me and he was like, when are you uploading? Like, why are you not filming? Are you quitting YouTube? Like, what are you doing? I was like, geez guys, like just give me a break, let me, you know. But they mean it in a good way, and like, I really appreciate having such a supportive family because, you know, a lot of people have unsupportive, it's not even unsupportive families, it's just like, if it's not the traditional career paths, if it's anything to do like with creativity and like not really a real job, you know, parents can be kind of unsupportive. So I'm really grateful that my parents and my whole family is supportive of what I do. And to be honest, I haven't had a single negative comment from my family or from my circle. Sometimes creating content can be very discouraging because it's like you put so much work and effort into a video or a piece of content, and it's like, obviously the quality of your content has a lot, like it plays a big role, but the algorithm also plays a major role in whether your video or your content is gonna reach a wider audience or not. And so sometimes it can be very discouraging to put so much work and effort into a piece of content and then for it to only get, I don't know, 200 views. Don't get me wrong, 200 views is still a lot. Like, if 200 people come up to my house right now, I will be shook. But it's just like, you just start to compare yourself to other people. You set a standard for yourself. You compare your views to your subscribers or your likes to your followers and things like that. So it can be kind of discouraging sometimes, but you just have to keep going. And what I remind myself is that two of my favorite YouTubers, Jackie Aina and Patricia Bright, they literally have been in the game for over 10 years now, and they've only like really blew up in the past maybe five years. Like, I remember Jackie Aina was saying how it took her 8 years to blow up on YouTube, but look at her now. Like, she is so successful, and I think I keep reminding myself of their stories to kind of keep motivating myself. Like, my time will come when the timing is right, but I do have to put in the work. I can't be inconsistent and post whenever I want and, you know, just come on here and go whenever I want. I really have to put in effort and time and create quality content in order for me to grow, like, my audience. That was a whole pep talk. I don't know if it was for me or for you guys. Anyways, the next question is how to accept the past and move forward. How to manifest blessings effectively. So, how to accept the past and move forward. I think this is like something that I'm working on right now, in this like current phase of my life. I've been through a lot, and I will tell you guys about it another time because I'm just not ready to go into the details right now. I think it's important to accept the fact that you can't change the past. And I understand that it still influences you and it still impacts you, but you shouldn't be overthinking about the past because there's really nothing that you can do about it to change it. So instead of thinking about the past, think about how you can deal with the problems that it's caused. So let's say you've experienced a traumatic event in your life in the past that has caused you till this day to have really bad anxiety. Focus on what you can do to, you know, reduce that anxiety. And I think for anyone that hears this, anyone that's going through any type of issues, I would really recommend you guys to start therapy. I started therapy this year, and it's been the best thing ever. Like, it helped me see things in a different perspective. It helped me understand my own behavior and my own mindset and my own thoughts and why I react to certain things the way that I do and why I deal with things the way that I do. And I think it's just like, therapy is like almost holding a mirror up to yourself and like really recognizing your own patterns and your own behavior, validating your own feelings. So for me, like, one thing I really struggle with is that I'm a people pleaser. I always put others first, and that's a really bad habit to have. And I really struggle with setting boundaries. And so therapy has helped me a lot with that, to make me realize, like, oh, setting boundaries is not, it's not rude. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you hate the person, or it doesn't mean that you don't want to help the person or whatever. It just means that you are respecting your own needs and you are respecting your own worth. And, you know, I think that's one thing. Like, being a people pleaser, not being able to set boundaries, not being able to be assertive, it also comes from a place of you don't respect your own needs enough. And I think that therapy has helped me a lot with that. And I think for me as well, I think it's really integrated in our culture, like the Eritrean culture, you know, where a lot of our women are very much people pleasers. And in our culture in general, not just women, but in our culture in general, like, we're always super generous and super, like, we want to help people, we want to put people first. Like, if someone would come to your house and you don't have enough food, you would give the guests all the food and you would be without dinner. Like, that's just an example, but it's just like our people are just very much like people pleasing. And so it took a lot for me, and I'm still going through therapy and kind of dealing with that and changing my perspective, my mindset, and my behavior. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys to start therapy. Like, I think that there's such a taboo on it as well, like in our culture, like the Eritrean and the Black culture, but also just in general, like, therapy is looked at as if it's like something for crazy people or mentally ill people. But I think even happy people, like, if everything is going well in your life, like, you should still seek therapy, in my opinion, because it just makes you such a better person. It makes you so much self-aware but also aware about your surroundings, about where you're standing in life. And yeah, it's just amazing. I really recommend it. How to manifest blessings effectively, I think is really important that you pray. That's what I do. If you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim, pray about what you want, but make sure that it aligns with God's will. And you can say that in your prayer as well. You can say like, God, please give me this if it is your will, you know. Or if you want to, like, simple, you can just say, have your way in my life, God. I think that's really important. But let's not forget that we also have to put the work in. So you can manifest or pray or ask for blessings all you want, but are you putting in the work? Are you open to receive those blessings? Are you ready to receive those blessings? Because sometimes God makes you wait because you're not ready yet. Like, he's still preparing you. If God would make me a millionaire right now, if he would blow up my hair business and give me millions of sales right now, would I be able to handle it? Not really, because I'm working from my house. Like, I have an inventory here and that's it. Like, I'm not ready yet to handle millions of orders. Am I ready? Do I know how to manage money well enough to be able for God to give me $1 million? Like, it's just unrealistic. You need to be ready for your blessings and you need to be open to receiving your blessings. So a lot of it also takes like a lot of internal work. Let me do my eyeliner before I go on to the next question, because I'm just waffling at this point. Okay, the next question is, when are you coming to Eritrea again? This is actually a really good question. I have no idea when I'm gonna be in Eritrea again, because the last time I went was just before COVID, 2019, and then obviously COVID happened, this and that, and then I think this year is like the first time like everyone went, but I obviously couldn't go this year because of my dissertation. I'm not sure if I'm going next summer. I think for me right now the situation is a little bit different because my grandparents have all passed away. The house that we stay in, like my grandparents' house, is literally empty, so it kind of gets a little boring sometimes. So unless like my other cousins and stuff go, I don't really want to go because I don't want to spend my whole summer like bored there. So yeah, maybe next year. I'm not sure, maybe next year. But like, there's so many places. Like, don't get me wrong, I love going to Eritrea. I love seeing my family. I love, like, you know, just seeing my country and stuff. But there's so many other places that I want to go to as well. And I've really been to Eritrea like so many times in my life. I kind of feel like I want to explore other parts of the world again first, like before I go back again. But I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll go back next year. The next question is, what do you value most in life and why have you chosen this above anything else? I feel like this whole video has become like just me talking about God, but yeah, that's really what I value the most in my life right now, is just my relationship with God. If your relationship with God is not good, things in your life are not gonna go well for you. So, and I've seen that happen to other people in my life. So I really just wanna focus on building a strong relationship with God, making sure that whatever I do, whatever I say, like, it aligns with God's will for my life. Second place would be my family. I think my family is just really important to me. I value that a lot. Like, they have really gotten me through anything and everything in life, so family is really important to me. Apply my lashes. I got these really natural lashes. I think they're from AliExpress. I'm going to use the same shimmer shade that I used on my eyes as like a highlighter, because all the highlighters that I have are broken for some reason. And I'm not really big on highlight anyways. I used to be, but nowadays I just really like a subtle highlight. So this does the job. Okay, for my lips, I'm going to use this lip pencil by Sleek in the shade Just Say Nothing. It's just a dark brown lip pencil. I usually like to use the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London, but I think I'm gonna go straight over it with my Fenty lip gloss in the shade Fenty Glow. So the last question is business advice to people starting out, and I would tell you one thing: it is gonna be a lot of work. It is gonna be so much work. It is not gonna be easy. All this entrepreneur videos that you see on YouTube, on TikTok, like, oh, I don't work a 9 to 5, I have a 7-figure business. It's not that easy. It is really not. It's really hard. You have to have a lot of discipline. You have to be consistent. You have to put in the work, but I do believe that it's worth it. And I think I'm gonna do a whole series on my YouTube channel, or maybe if it fits into one video, I'll try to put it into one video, but it might have to turn into like 2 or 3 parts. But I am gonna share with you guys like the whole process of how I started my business, all the steps that I took, because I took a lot of notes when I was starting my business and working on launching it. So I still have all of that in my iPad, and I will tell you guys everything. So I'm going to share with you guys everything that I did to start my online hair business, but I do believe that it can apply to other online businesses as well. It's very similar, like any e-commerce stores that you want to start, you should watch that video. So I'm going to work on doing that for you guys, but in the meantime, do your research, work hard. It doesn't happen overnight. And yeah, marketing and branding is key. That's also one thing I'm going to say. But yes, definitely possible. YouTube is your best friend. You can find all the resources on YouTube. Anything, literally, you can have the smallest question, type it in YouTube, and you'll find your answer to it. YouTube was my best friend when I was working on starting my business. So I definitely recommend you use the internet to get the answers to whatever questions you have. Anyways, that was all for today. Thank you guys so much for sending in all the questions. It was really nice catching up with you guys. I felt like I talked a lot in this video, so it might be a little bit longer than usual, but I hope you guys enjoyed anyways. And yeah, it just felt really nice like catching up with you guys and just being back on YouTube. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get to 20K. That would mean a lot to me, and I promise you guys I am gonna put in the work, the hard work, the effort to bring you guys consistent content again. Make sure to follow me on TikTok as well and Instagram at Lillian's Egg Guy, and follow my business Purity Hair UK on Instagram, TikTok, and you can also sign up for the newsletter on our website, but I'll leave everything in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for your support. Even though I was on my break, I was still getting comments, and it was just so heartwarming to see all your nice comments, because it really does motivate me to keep going, to keep pushing. So thank you so much to everyone that supported me throughout this whole YouTube journey, and I hope that I will continue to make you guys proud. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you guys. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.